Got my co-star and we're headed out to the shop this morning. Well, Dad came out yesterday and we were going to pull this truck outside, the old 45 Chevrolet 1.5 ton. And I got this bed for it, this flatbed. We took the old beat box off of here. It was pretty rotten and kind of useless. So we were going to put a flatbed on here. And I found this one for sale. It was used. Except it had been sitting in somebody's shop on a floor. And this side had rusted out. So I have some amazing neighbors that are just state-of-the-art fabricators that helped us make this side here. And the plan was to take this, drive it out, pick it up with the backhoe, prep it, and get some paint on it before the winter comes. It's starting to cool off here quite a bit in Colorado. So that was our plan yesterday. But unfortunately, I went to start the truck and we had some issues with the wiring in here, and I don't know, what's weird, just a couple of weeks ago we moved the truck in here, and the way that this works is you're supposed to turn the key to on, and then there was a push button start switch here. But when you turn the key to on, typically this gauge would move a little bit and it would indicate a little bit of a draw to the system and that you could start it. But when we turned the key to on, it was dead. And so we got to investigating. Bad thing is, the wiring in this thing is, well, to put it simply, it's kind of a rat's nest. A lot of emergency field farm repairs and crimp connectors. So today my plan is to fix this switch up. We tested the switch. It has continuity. It works between the hot side and the neutral. And I'm going to extend some of these wires. I might even solder them, do a nice job so that we can get this switch out of here if we need to in the future. At least get it down to where we can work on it. So that's the plan today. And I'm going to redo this wire here. It just had a kind of a spade connector that ended up coming loose. So we didn't get very far on the truck yesterday and kind of gave up. While I'm out here talking about the truck, I did want to point out that as you'll notice, this isn't the 6-cylinder engine that this truck should have in it. This is a 283 V8 that is out of I think a mid-60s Chevrolet pickup truck that was rebuilt. It's probably only got a few, I don't know, 10, 20,000 miles on it. And it used to have an oil bath cleaner on it. I rebuilt the carburetor, put new plugs and wires. It runs like a champ. This thing's actually quite quick for as heavy of a truck as it is, with this little 283 V8 in it. But gave it some adequate power for what we were using it for. And we fixed the brakes. The brake cylinder had a little bit of pitting in it. I got the parts for it, but can't get a new brake cylinder. Actually, the trick we used to fix the brake cylinder was just put a little JB weld in there in those pits and hone it, and it actually has held up really, really well. No leaks, no issues. Dad put a lot of work into it. New brakes on the back. I had these relined. We got new tires. Painted the wheels. The 2-speed for the rear end, the cable. Dad freed it up and we got it going. So still need to put a spacer in here between the bed and the frame rail, which I have outside. the original hardwood spacer that was on the beat box. We're going to use that. We just have this setting up here to work on while we were fitting and everything. So the plan is to take this outside and paint it. And we'll wire up the lights, build a bumper for this back here, and we'll have kind of a cool retro flatbed truck. So hopefully I can get this thing started today. The other thought that we had was that the ballast resistor may have failed. Maybe something that I might want to think about replacing. And if my wiring doesn't fix it, there was a lot of loose things under there. If my wiring job doesn't fix it today, that'll definitely be next on the list. But I do need to fix the wiring anyway because it was loose. Things were not correct. And that's what we're up to today. So right now I'm just putting new wire from the switch to the keyed switch to the push button switch. And it's kind of hard to retrofit. Not impossible. Some of this wire is cloth covered, and I'm sure when my grandfather back in the 60s or 70s or whenever he did it, he put the 289 in it. Had to do a little bit of retrofit wire, and they were able to make it work. But the real amazing part is that this little truck, when we started our excavating company in the Denver metro area, that this little truck actually pulled a trailer and a backhoe. That was our first company truck back in the, I think 71 when we started. Kind of amazing to think about. By today's standards. I mentioned that we fixed the brakes on this truck. It originally had a hydrovac booster, and of course when you're pulling a backhoe and you're pretty grossly loaded, it's definitely something you need is good brakes. So right now there we go. Those heat guns are amazing tools. Absolutely love them. And I hate using crimp fittings. I like to solder things, but the problem is where I have to get to underneath the dash, I can barely reach the way it is. Which is part of my point of at least getting some wires on there and extending them out long enough that I can get to that keyed switch to access it for work if we have any more issues. Kind of a nice rain coming down outside. We've had a lot of thunder showers roll through in the evenings, which is normal when we do get rain, but morning rains are kind of rare in Colorado, so super nice. Good sleeping weather. Yeah. Gravity. Where did that screw go? There you are. I think my headlamp needs charged. It appears the battery died. It did. Bummer. And I'll throw a little heat shrink on there just to be on the safe side. Everything on this dang thing's metal. Dash, everything, so. Especially since this is the button going to the starter, I don't want to chance anything. This is one of those days that I'm really missing my son. He was just a whiz with wire. Well, I was wondering if it would work on the cloth wire, and it did. And that does look like aluminum, which is interesting. And all the more reason to use a different style fitting. I got the wrong heat shrink on here. Well, I got the wiring back together, soldered some wires, and got one more to hook up. It's just way too far up under the dash for me to get to, so didn't get it started today, but well on the road, so we'll see what happens when I get the other one finished.